Great news as we start a Friday afternoon. As Mark Meadows tells reporters, if you want to look for your second stimulus checks, go to Reagan National Airport and look at the congressional leaders getting on planes, heading home while they don't have stimulus checks for Americans. True comment. Minutes later, Nancy Pelosi was available for comment, and I'm not making this up for a joke. She said, I think we need to give in the second stimulus package more money for airlines. This is the person who just showed up into town this week from her vacation, flew in, is ready to fly away, into the sky, and is planning her next vacation. The question is, how much money in the second stimulus package does she want to prepare for her getaway? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE, and boy, what a day it is with great news about your second stimulus check, great news about your second stimulus package, and a hot mess express as we wait for a potential executive order to give you your second stimulus checks. I have all the incredible details today. Thank you for joining me on Afternoons LALATE. It's a 2-hour programming block. We got 4 great videos. Stay with me for each of them. We're first doing the check now. 30 minutes from now, we're doing hazard pay. Then 30 minutes after that is unemployment, and I'll be answering your questions on camera. And finally, rent and EIDL 30 minutes after that. This is an incredible day. We've reached 250,000 subscribers. We're approaching 260. 4 months, a YouTube record. If there ever was a time to go to the Fudge channel and hit the subscribe button, it's now. And also like this video because it is going to be a great video to like. I'm going to be covering 7 subjects in this video on top of your second stimulus checks and second stimulus package. First, and all these subjects have to do with why you are likely to get a check. First, stock market crashing. Second, dollar down, the US dollar down for 5 consecutive days. 3, big concerns about implosion of the economy with China trade deals heating up amid a TikTok trade scandal. 4th, a spike of COVID-19 cases domestically and internationally. 5th, new data about the polls suggesting why the president would do executive order right now and right how. 6, new talks about a deal from Mark Meadows. And finally, 7th, new data about where the president is really stringing the deal to. And actually, there's an 8th, a bonus, more comments from Jerome Powell. Additionally, I'll be answering some of your 2,741 comments from yesterday's video. Yeah, we're doing a lot. So let's get right to the news. The news as we sit here today is that all eyes really remain on one man and one group to get you the second stimulus check. And it's still, in my opinion, remains President Donald Trump. There is a lot of hot mess happening in the Congress, which I'm going to be covering in a second, but it's all sort of everywhere. It's very scattered. It's very hard to even report about it because, as you know, we started the week with 3 bills. And those 3 bills have really pushed second stimulus to front page, literally by the minute. There's hundreds of articles literally being published every second, whether it's broadcast news or print media, about second stimulus and second stimulus check. So that's incredibly great news. What's not very clear, though, and I don't want to sugarcoat this for you, is that Democrats, Republicans are literally just going everywhere. And let me explain to you what's happening. They're all scrambling. Their seats are in jeopardy. Their caucuses are falling apart. And so as we see this sort of scattering of everything, the real great hope still remains the president. Let me get to the details right now about the second stimulus check and what's pushing the envelope this afternoon. It sounds like someone's cutting someone off camera with a chainsaw. A lot of dramatics here today. It's not lobster. First, stock market is down dramatically. I told you on Mornings LALATE that the stock market's about to crash, that the stock market's too frothy, that there is perceived a massive bubble in the stock market that could crash like something we've never seen since the Great Recession of the 90s. And today, the stock market is down 3 to 5% across all major indices. This is now indication of why a second stimulus bill is going to be done and has to be done, because you can't prolong this environment. It's an environment in which it's reflective of Congress. Congress thought they could just sort of float this and not do a stimulus deal, and that everything would be totally fine for them and their congressional seats and their local jurisdictions. Oh no. Wall Street is saying today, you can't keep on doing this to us. We are about to implode. Second, the U.S. dollar is down for the 5 consecutive days. The U.S. economy is weakening, and it's weakening very rapidly. And this is data that Republicans are acknowledging, which is ironic because when I was recording this channel, 2 months ago, 3 months ago when we launched, I said around this time you would potentially have Republicans trying to spin the data, economic data, against Democrats and try to say, oh, it's not really that bad, it's actually quite good. No, Republicans are now taking ownership of this very bad economic data. 3, the TikTok deal is really starting to implode the U.S. economy. And the reason why is because of new trade concerns with China. If you're sitting back and wondering why trade deals have something to do with your stimulus checks, because ultimately the economy is now being hit in 3 different cases, in 3 different situations. 1, it's being hit because of new concerns about trade deals with China. 2, it's being hit because there's no stimulus. 3, it's being hit because of the next one I'm about to tell you, a new spike of COVID-19 cases. The diplomatic tug of war is not being resolved, says Boris Schlossenberg, managing director of BK Asset Management, minutes ago. The tensions are heightening rather than easing. That's something that's not helping in the market. So with all these economic concerns, what is it saying about people trying to get your second stimulus check? That's number 5 today. New data suggests that the polls reflect that a second stimulus check deal has to be done right away. Right away. The President Donald Trump tweeted this week that Democrats don't want to give Americans more money. He's taking aim at the Democrats. But a new report minutes ago says that Democrats in swing states feel like they're going to lose their seats. Seats for stimulus. Says Gleckman, who is Howard Gleckman, senior fellow at the Urban Brookings Tax Policy. We're in a place where there's going to be a lot, depending on the polls right now. He was asked about second stimulus. He said, is second stimulus checks going to be approved? He says it is being pushed by the implosion of the polls. The whole challenge right now is to figure out whether or not there's some middle ground to get the second stimulus check deals. Okay, let's go to item number 6 today, deals. Will there be a second stimulus check deal? Mark Meadows gave 2 comments, and first one, and both of them are about congressional events to get you a congressional second stimulus check versus an a stimulus check by executive order. More about that in a second. Let's talk about congressional. Mark Meadows said, when asked whether Congress could get a deal to send your second stimulus checks, he said minutes ago, if there's going to be a deal that actually helps us make a soft landing, I think the deal is going to have to happen in the next week to 10 days. Mark Meadows says that, hey, if you're going to do a deal by purposes of congressional order, if you're going to get second stimulus checks out by Congress, it really sort of has to be done in the next 2 weeks. Gleckman, the person I talked about a second ago, agreed. He says when we get closer, it becomes very hard. Closer to the election, it gets very hard to get these stimulus checks out. He says that the IRS and the Treasury Department could get most of this money out to the Americans in a matter of weeks. But the closer you get to the election, the more difficult it is to do this because of all those tensions just get exacerbated. The political rhetoric gets more and more amplified. Now, I don't necessarily agree with him on that because Steve Mnuchin has said once there's a law, the checks could be in your hand within 10 days. But he's talking about as we get closer to the polls, the situation could be harder to get second stimulus checks out than even that. Meadows also gave it a comment late yesterday and repeated again this morning. He told reporters that, quote, there are no planned discussions to speak with the Speaker or Leader Chuck Schumer at this point, and that if Pelosi stays at $2.2 trillion stimulus by act of Congress, won't get enacted. So that was his remark. Number 7, so let's turn to the president. The president and what he's trying to do with or without Congress. This is incredibly great news. Here we go. The president is supporting everything of the Problem Solvers bill, the bill that was introduced on Tuesday. And the president is getting widespread support for his support of the bill. So that's also really great news. The items that he supports are the following: $1,200 second stimulus check, $2,400 married couples stimulus check, check to dependents, whether you're $500 for minor dependents or $500 for adult dependents, a check for everyone, even if you didn't get a check under the first stimulus package, just check for people if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or railroad benefits. The check would likely not be taken out for child support. The check would land in your bank accounts within about 10 days after executive order. This is all incredibly great news. The president also supports an extension of FPUC. More about that on the video, in 1 hour from now. But if the president was going to do that by executive order, it's one thing. How about if he wanted to do it legislatively? More reason right today that he needs to do it by executive order. This is what's coming out. This used to be the White House versus Pelosi up until now, says the quote. Now the president's coming in saying maybe we can go to 1.5 trillion, which is what the Problem Solvers bill said Chuck Grassley minutes ago. President Trump better be careful of that, because I don't think it'll get through the United States Senate. Ooh. Senator John Thune of South Dakota, number 2 Republican in the Senate, says that if you're going over $1 trillion, Mr. President, it's a threshold at which you start losing Republican support. So it suggests, as you hear those comments, as you see the data, that the president may have to do what he needs to do for his own political future. Send out the second stimulus checks. Why? Because there's really now 2 forces fighting against you, 2 forces fighting against him, and those 2 forces don't seem like they're moving. As we sit here on a Friday afternoon, everything could change by tomorrow. The first one is Meadows is saying Pelosi's still stuck at her 2.2 and no one's going to go to 2.2. So, we just don't see this ever happening. That's the first side. The second side is that the Republicans are now saying they won't even support the 1.5, the Problem Solvers $1.5 trillion offer that the president does support. Remember, the president all this week, he says, I support 1.5, and I'll even go a little bit higher than 1.5. Now the number 2 Republican in the Senate says, we're not going to approve that for you, Mr. President. You want to go to 1.5? We're not approving 1.5. You want to go to 2? You want to go to 1.7, 1.8? We're not approving that. We're not even going to approve. We may not even approve 1 trillion. Of course, we know what happened last week. They didn't approve 500 million either. Finally, Powell, my sense is that more fiscal support is likely to be needed and needs to be done right now. So as you sit here today, what should be the takeaway? And it's only early afternoon here in Los Angeles. The situation can change dramatically in a minute. My takeaway is the following. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm not going to tell it as it is. You ask for my opinion all the time. I'm going to give you my opinion. I see problems with Congress as I've always seen them in the last 7 days. I just see them a hot mess express. You got some Democrats way out one way, some Democrats way out the other way, some Republicans one way, some Republicans the other way. They're very slow. They're not moving. The situation is very dire. The stock market's crashing. The trade wars are heightening. The economy is getting very bad very quickly. Executive order. It's just there's nothing that says anything stronger than executive order. If the president doesn't do executive order, he's just gone. He's just not going to be reelected. The economy is going to implode. We'll go into the polls. We'll be starting to vote, and the economy will be busting. Real estate will be tanking. Stock market will have crashed. Trade wars will have imploded. The dollar will have fallen. I just don't. Is he that idiotic? I don't see him that stupid. He would have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to simply say, I'm not going to do anything. Everything's so wonderful, as people see, all these things imploding very, very quickly. And that's what I've always said. The situation is going to get very serious very, very quickly when you don't have stimulus in the economy. And we don't. So with that, I really, really do think that you're going to see an executive order. Again, I am repeating my pledge to you. I will go and meet with Mark Meadows in person in Washington. You get him to agree to meet with me. I will fly in and meet with him and get you a $1,200 and negotiate and represent your interests for a second stimulus check. $1,200 for individuals, $2,400 for married couples, $1,200 for dependents, whether adult or minors, and getting into your bank accounts right away. Let me get to some of your 2,741 comments from yesterday. Kathy, everyone try to stay positive. There's a reason why we're going through this. God only knows. Charlene. Okay, Trump, pull your Trump card, sign the executive order. Very well said, Charlene. Erica, we need the money now. Yolanda, it's just upsets me that I think $1,200 is far more than enough. Trump says $1,200 is not enough. Trump says that he wants to give you a lot more. Let's see if he does. Bonnie Bell, I'm tired of feeling we need to beg for them. I mean, it's very well said. D, I feel like the swamp is beginning to drain. Go Trump. Davidi, our government sucks. It's making money through trading online. Chris, hope they pass it soon. A lot of situations. Pray to the purple pals. I love that, Chris. See, Okoma, Nancy Pelosi rambles like she escaped the nursing home. She does. She's not coherent when she's talking lately. You reach your own conclusions about that one. Jennifer Strickland, yes, I'm so glad everyone's efforts are starting to share, tweet, and tag everyone to help. You really need to be tagging the president to do executive orders. I mean, it's absolutely imperative. You need to be hitting Mnuchin and Meadows and Kudlow and Navarro. And of course the problem solvers, and of course the Democratic, the Blue Dogs, and of course the New Age coalition of the Democrats. You need to tag them all and say, hey, get it done. Get it done. Executive orders. Meadows meet with LALATE. I mean, get it done. Cash money. Why do they treat us like this? I really don't know. Naomi, I believe we'll get more than one stimulus check, and sooner than November 15th. I'm very optimistic. Oh, I love that, Naomi. Naomi Melendez says you're going to get more than one stimulus check. Gail Little, wow, are they hitting the Wicked Witch of the West? Speaker Mark Vargas. I'm so tired of this. Don't get tired. We're here to motivate all of you. Thomas Rouch, the Purple Power is amazing. It is. I love this channel. Well, thank you. God bless for those who believe and promote the Purple Power. We do. Red plus blue equals purple. We are nonpartisan. We support things that stimulate the economy and stimulates Americans and gets people back to their normal pre-COVID life. Christina, it's almost the end of the month. Come on. Leanne Marie. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Ellen. I love you. Steve Blay. Pelosi and Mitch, the perfect example of needs for term limits. I agree. Alan Wilmorth. I call Nancy every single day. Oh, my goodness. Keep on calling. Hannah. It's been so sad lately. You're the only one that can make me smile. I appreciate that, Hannah. James, good evening. Here's an idea. Let's all order food and have it sent to Nancy's. Catherine, I'll be happy when I see it in the bank. Catherine. Oh, another Catherine. Two Catherines after each other. Let's all party. Hearty party. Good riddance, Nancy. Andy Donich. Mitch is just guilty. Let's not kid ourselves. David, God will always be on this time. Second stimulus checks are coming. Hands up, praying. I love that, David. Corey, Nancy Pelosi will never know what it's like to struggle. Well, maybe she will. She goes through a $20,000 refrigerator, pulls out a $12 ice cream. Alsha Belair, get her out of office. Steve Erickson, what does everyone need to remember is it's not their money, it's our money. It's very well said. Beth Baxter, the Speaker of the House should undergo a full medical psychological examination. Me, myself, the person who said, I believe in what I see and had a point, Michael Schuster. She could go to Supercuts and fix the mess on her head or another facelift, you silly man. Elizabeth Hassler, first of all, I love your videos. On the other issue of hand, they need to think about what they're going through for the American people. They need to focus on what's important, pass the bill. Anna Green, I'm so tired of her. Darth Vapor. That's the screen name. And the House and Senate had to live the rest of their lives on $1,200. My goodness. Sheila, all of them in the office need to retire. Guadalupe Perez, I've waited this long. I'm going to hold up the purple power and believe when we'll be victorious. Amen, Guadalupe. Esther S.A. Williams, how many more days, weeks? Nazy Brown, this is dragging on long enough. Anita Cook, tomorrow the White House says they'll be on a holiday because of Rosh Hashanah. Winslet Sobe, this is a great start. And Patterson, Nancy should be stripped of her retirement. See how it feels. Amen. I agree exactly with that. Vicky, I love it. It would be great. Jamie Costello, we really appreciate you, LA. You make us laugh, give us hope, and God bless for keeping us informed. I appreciate that. I spent a lot of time really researching these videos. Sometimes I talk a little bit fast because I try to get all the data in there as fast as I can. Laura Abel, I wish I could go get my hair cut off. Derica, Nancy's in her 80s. It's time for her to move out of office and put up. Clearly, she's too old to handle the job. You said it, not me, but thank you for saying it. Captain Charisma, Pelosi spelled backwards, is Isolo, the ancient Sumerian demon. I don't know if that's true, but I love it. Rosa Fletcher, I'm praying to God they come to some agreement. Rhonda, we need to remind her it's not her house, it's ours, so get out, Nancy. I love that. Robert, we need to Robert, when I see you wear purple, your shirt, I feel the power. We're going to need it, Nancy Pelosi. Very well said. Robert Terry, she needs to go and retire. Shallow Lord, I feel all the positivity. Lottie, there's still hope for us. Ronald, tell Mitch he's made enough money. And Rebecca, I just love the purple power. I love the purple power. If there's a time to go to the Furnace channel, subscribe, it would be today. Go to the Furnace channel and subscribe and hit the alert and drop your comments below, and I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Also, like this video because it's a darn good video. Coming up next is Hazard Pay. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.